President, my question is to the Attorney-General. The government came out upon release of the VLRC as improving the justice system response to sexual offences report, saying that you'd support a new affirmative consent model and a new stealthing offence, which is great news. But you've remained silent on the rest of the 91 recommendations. I've spoken in this place before about a sexual assault reporting option, or a SARO, including a constituent in my electorate who would have liked an online option to report their sexual assault. Recommendation 19 and 20 of the VLRC report recommended a SARO equivalent through both CARSs and Victoria Police. New South Wales has a SARO through police and it is hugely successful. My office has spoken to the individuals who run their SARO program and the results are incredible. Victoria used to have such a scheme run through the South Eastern Centre Against Sexual Assault, but it was a victim of its own success and shut down due to underfunding. Attorney, will the state government acknowledge that Victoria needs an online, confidential, anonymous reporting option and commit to its implementation?
Attorney-General.
Thank you, President. I thank Mr Grimley for his question and indeed acknowledgement of the great work of the VLRC report into sexual harm and the justice response. And we know that sexual assault of any kind is appalling and must be stopped and called out. And it is our intention to respond to the VLRC report, as you've identified. We were able to commit to the creation of new offences in relation to stealthing and affirmative consent. But Mr Grimley, you would appreciate that we need to take time to consider a response to a range of the other recommendations, and although you are of the view that the New South Wales model is something that could be replicated here in Victoria, that is by no means an uncontested view. Many experts have told us that the model would not be fit for purpose in Victoria, and therefore it is certainly incumbent upon me to take due consideration and time to appropriately respond to the VLRC's report as part of a whole-of-government strategy on sexual offending that I have committed to developing. So this is an important matter that you raise, but it's not something that you can just acquit without due consideration of victim survivors and service providers and how things would operate in Victoria.
Mr Grimley on a supplementary.
Thanks, President. Thanks, Attorney. I'm a little bit disappointed by that statement. It's not only something that the VLRC report has called for, but also academics such as Professor Georgina Hayden, who is currently investigating best practice for sexual assault reporting options, RMIT's Centre for Innovative Justice, Victoria Police, CARSA, victim survivors. So there are clearly things that need to be worked through, like you stated, and these include resourcing the schemes adequately so the reports can be responded in short timeframes, how mandatory reporting of children might intersect, how data should or could be stored and how security can be maintained, but it shouldn't stop the recommendation from being acted upon. If the government won't commit to acquitting this recommendation of providing alternative reporting options to sexual assault survivors, how will you address these clear gaps in reporting?
Attorney-General.
Mr Grimley, your supplementary question is a little confusing because in one sense you're acknowledging that you need to work through these issues, but then you're saying that we should commit to a particular outcome. We have committed to responding to the VLRC's report, to indeed making it easier for victims to report and to be supported throughout a complaints process. We have a range of commitments to progress these matters. I am not in a position to confirm whether your view is right because I'm not an expert in this. I'm not prepared to say I know what's right in relation to reporting of sexual offending. It's incumbent upon me as the attorney to speak to several people. Happy to continue conversations with you on your views, but I can't tell you whether you're right or not because there's lots of people that say currently they don't have the same view as you. So I'm not going to commit to something that you suggest I should do so without proper consultation and consideration of all of the VLRC's recommendations. And if we can bring out some more earlier, which we have done with stealthing and affirmative consent, certainly open to that.
Mr David.
President, my matter is for the attention